What we saw on Thursday Night Football at Lambeau Field was a 27-18 victory for Green Bay. And I know we're only 2 weeks in here, but now Green Bay, 2 wins back-to-back weeks against playoff teams from last year. The defense, it looks as good as you would have hoped it would if you are a Green Bay fan, adding Micah Parsons to that D. They had Jaden Daniels boxed up all game. They've looked dominant. They did the same thing the week prior to Jared Goff and company with the Detroit Lions. So it's hard to make out whether this was a bad performance for Washington or just an unreal performance by an unreal team. Let's dive into it. KB, I'll start with you. You're watching Thursday Night Football. Green Bay, they're looking as good as ever. And meanwhile, you have the Commanders trying to repeat what they did last year, and they fall up short in a game where it just kind of looked uneven throughout the entire football game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Watching the game, it made me think of Giants Commanders in Week 1. This time the Commanders were the Giants in that situation where the game was close as far as the score goes, but as far as yardage and everything else, and just watching the game, you can tell which team was really dominating there. Listen, Green Bay, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do against Washington's defense. I thought the Commanders were going to participate in some sort of shootout there. It didn't look like to be the case. Micah Parsons was all over the place. It really goes to show how numbers don't really mean much, because Micah Parsons had like a half a sack. Like, his numbers aren't really there. But if you watch the game, he was putting pressure to Jaden Daniels, forcing him out the pocket. Jaden Daniels he still looked poised out there, but he was holding the ball for too long. He was scrambling around. You can tell that Green Bay was ready for him, because usually Jaden, when he's ready to go, he just runs. He gets out the pocket and runs for yardage. He was very much more hesitant. He was trying to look for more opportunities downfield, because they like you said, Z-Bot, they had him boxed up, and you can really see that Jaden was struggling out there to make any plays happen. And shout out to Green Bay, man. They are a real threat in the NFC, like legitimately. They dominated the Lions, who swept them last year. They came back and dominated the Lions, and then they come against the Washington Commanders, who went to the NFC Championship last year and dominated them as well. So shout out to the Packers. But I don't know what happens from here with Washington. I know they got some issues with Jaden Daniels as far as he's looking like he's going to be hurt. They don't know if he's going to play or not. Whatever the case is, they lost Austin Eckler for the year. They lost Dietrich Wise for the year. So we'll see how they rebound from that. But yeah, it's a bad loss for Washington.
Yeah, you mentioned it, KB, right? Not only did the Commanders lose the game, but a knee sprain suffered by Jaden Daniels. We'll see throughout the week here what ends up coming of that, whether or not he's good to go this upcoming weekend. But this was just an uncharacteristic game for Jaden Daniels based on what we've come accustomed to seeing from him. 42 pass attempts results in only 200 yards, and then only 17 rush yards on 7 carries. That defense for Green Bay was just all over the place, making it difficult for everybody on the Washington offensive side of things. Simone, this is the team that, last you saw them, you're taking them on in the NFC Championship game. They try to come back this year, go up against a Green Bay team that's looking to try to get to where your Eagles are at, and they fall up short in this one. What did you make of what you saw from Washington and Green Bay in Thursday Night Football last week?
First of all, Tone, I'm sorry our boy Rio did you like this.
Threw you to the fire, man.
Propping you up like this after a loss is diabolical. Appreciate you for coming on. Nasty work, especially at the last minute. That's what, 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Last
second.
But,
Crazy.
that game was so disappointing. I was looking forward to that game all week long, try to reschedule my schedule, make sure I had time to sit down and enjoy a great football game that turned into a bad game. Washington looked how we left, looking lost. You know what I mean? Just like they looked in that NFC Championship game. Offense just looked so flat. They looked like it was preseason. They looked confused. They looked like they just met each other on the field. I don't know what was up. Okay, obviously Green Bay's defense was locking down, great pressure up front, but we've seen Jaden Daniels get pressure before. We've seen this Washington offense against good defenses before, and they usually still look smooth. But this week, shoot, they look lost. Green Bay look like a great team, steamrolling into week 2, still look like one of the hottest teams right now in the league. I will say the second half, they kind of slowed down a little bit. Washington's defense really tightened up in the second half. Their offense just looked so freaking flat. It was like the little SpongeBob where they like poking the thing with the stick, like do something, wake up. I'm like, what's happening? Like, but yeah, I hate to see them look so bad. We supposed to be knucking and bucking. You know what I'm saying? Wake up.
If I know Simone, she was watching that game with a tear in her eye. She couldn't believe what she was watching. She was bummed beyond belief that the Commanders did not give their A game in that one. Looking at the offensive side of things, I mean, obviously it had a lot to do with Green Bay's defense, but you're looking at the totality of what Washington put on display offensively. 51 rush yards, what really stands out. could not get anything going in that regard. 230 total yards of offense for the game. But what's crazy in this one, Jay Tuck, is in the fourth quarter, despite the lack of production offensively, this was still a 17-10 game. This was manageable up until late, until Green Bay pulled away. But, your boy Micah Parsons really making a difference on that Packers squad up until right now. Give me your thoughts on what he's been doing for Green Bay to allow them to look like this. Is this kind of fool's gold? Are they just good in general, or is this the Micah effect? And then on top of that, your overall thoughts from Washington Green Bay last week.
Well, 3 words when it comes to Commanders fans is bippity boppity. Ooh, it's midnight, Cinderella. We've been trying to tell y'all that all show, man. Y'all are not who y'all think y'all are. We've been trying to tell you last year it was just Cinderella in her glass slipper, but it has worn off and now it's back to reality. So they did face off versus the Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons just stepped out there and does what he does best. Get pressure, get holding calls. But I just did a film session and dropped it about 5 minutes ago. It's not just Micah Parsons. The linebacker and Edgerrin Cooper, number 56 in his second year, is playing outstanding as well. You have Gary, you have all sorts of talent now on this Green Bay defense, and you saw it really unfold. In the scary part, they're just getting started. But then you also on the opposite side of the ball, you saw Jordan Love, you saw Josh Jacobs. Green Bay is a complete team, and they have a hell of a coach out there, and Matt LaFleur. They are going to be tough to beat. And I just felt like the Washington Commanders just really went out there and got punched in the mouth, and they just didn't have a response. As you mentioned, Z-Bot, only 2. I mean, my quarterback threw for more yards than y'all had total, and KB's quarterback threw for more yards than they had total offense. So their offense was struggling. It was unfortunate to see Austin Eckler go down. But you think with Debo, you think with Scary Terry, you even think with Bill, they would be a little bit more serviceable, but their offensive line struggled, and it was due to Micah effing Parsons. The Green Bay Packers has always been a good team, but let's keep it a buck. They never really had a guy besides Aaron Rodgers to really be afraid of. They now have someone to be afraid of in Micah Parsons, and you're seeing that Micah Parsons Lion DNA starting to flow to this defense, and they are flowing to the ball, playing with high intensity, high motor, and it was just a bad day at the office for the Washington Commanders. But don't feel too bad, Commanders fans. You guys wasn't going to win that game anyways.
Jay Tuck, you said you broke down the film from that one. How much of it had to do, and you're talking about the guys outside of Micah Parsons, how much have they been freed up just because of the presence of Micah Parsons up front?
A lot. A lot. And so it was just like, I was breaking down the film of that game a second ago. It's just the slide protects everyone's not 11 anymore, but 1, right? So the offensive line is sliding towards Micah, double teaming, chipping, and now you're starting to get those 1v1s on the opposite side. They're also running stunts with Edgerrin Cooper, as I mentioned earlier, had him mugging in the A and B gap and dropping him back in coverage and doing stunts internally. So it's a lot of different things now defensively. The Green Bay Packers can now put in the defensive scheme because they have that weapon in Micah Parsons, and he's just getting started. I mean, the way he was out there getting things that did not show up in the stat sheet, right? The false starts, the holding calls, like the variety of different things that happens from the Micah effect you're starting to see when it comes to Green Bay. And they also just have some talent, some young talent out there that's hungry, and they're flying around. So they're definitely a scary team right now.
Well, Ton, I think we apologized around the board, but unfortunately the time has come. I'm going to have you step up to the plate and talk about this one. We've talked about Green Bay's defense, their impact in this game. Is that what you thought was the biggest takeaway here? Just the inability to kind of surpass what they were putting out on the table and what they were kind of, putting in front of Jaden Daniels and company? Or do you think it was more than that? Do you think it was more of an internal issue, just not being able to adjust? What was your takeaway from your Commanders' loss to the Packers in week 2?
Before I give my take, anybody talk about Rio in the comment section? Can y'all I'm dissing my boy Rio? All right, I'm y'all chill out. But back to the point.
I haven't been keeping up. Rio,
I got the comment section right. I'm like, yeah, still on Rio. All right, still on Rio. All right, still on Rio. I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me on. Very appreciate it. Now, it's multiple factors. I think one, the game plan from Cliff was trash. I don't know what game plan he thought that was going to work. He ain't watched that week 1 film, how fast that defense is. You try to go horizontal screens and all. That wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work. On top of that, Green Bay's defense is just like that. They like that. They were good if they add Micah. And poor Josh Conley Jr. Poor Josh Conley Jr.
Oh, yeah, he got
mercy. Poor Josh Conley Jr. Got BTA for 4 quarters. Lord have mercy. Lord. Micah's grabbed the belt, whooped him for 4 quarters. And Conley had no answer. He won a rep here and there, but he didn't really have no real answer. And when they tried to chip Micah, he whooped him in the back. What can we do about that? And when you double Micah, the times you did, here comes Rashawn Gary. What the hell do we do now? golly. All right, then we start both the ends. Here comes Edwin Cooper off a blitz sack. Their defense is that good, man. The worst part is the secondary, and they was locking up the receivers. No one get no separation, including our $30 million wide receiver Terry McLaurin couldn't get open either. No one couldn't get open.
So you think that this will be an afterthought once you face a defense that isn't this Green Bay Packers D? You just think that they imposed their will to the point where there just wasn't much of an answer for Washington on Thursday?
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe the game plan was bad, and I believe their defense was just that good.
On the Washington defensive side of things, though, it felt like Tucker Kraft dictated this entire game. He went off 6 for 124, a touchdown. It felt like it was honestly more than that. It felt like every time you heard the broadcast, it was bringing up his name. Jordan Love finishes just under 300 yards. A big chunk of that was Tucker Kraft. Did you just notice, were you getting a vibe throughout that game like, man, are we going to cover this guy? Are we going to make an adjustment here? Because it just felt like he was really paving the way for Green Bay's offense to get this one done.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that was just bad Joe Witt Jr. Like, you drafted a guy like Jordan McGee in the 5th round a couple years back as a coverage linebacker specialist. You drafted a guy like Cameron John in the 6th round this past draft. Where was their antennas? Where were they at? Where? You got old man Bobby Wagner that's 85 years old trying to cover somebody, and we got Frankie Louvu who just can't cover a soul. What do you want me to do?
Retirement home.
Left hand up, or are you raising your hand?
I think Jay Tuck's got a question for the class.
I'm ready to put Commanders fans in the class a little bit, right? So I see my dog Tone is kind of confused with what happened, and let me kind of educate y'all. Sure. The reason why your defense struggled versus the Packers was the same reason my Dallas Cowboys defense struggled versus the Packers. Matt LaFleur was on Dan Quinn's staff in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan. He has the drop on Dan Quinn's defense. Like, he can just rip this thing apart, where it's kind of like you're looking at, like, I don't understand why these players like Tucker Kraft are just wide open. Matt LaFleur has the drop on Dan Quinn and also Joe Witt. So I understand y'all's like, what's happening? I've been through it before. Kyle Shanahan, who is also on Dan Quinn's staff, he does it to us as well. Just those two have Dan Quinn's playbook, and he doesn't know how to adjust. Matt LaFleur goes out there with those different motions, goat motions, ghost motions. It throws everything off when it comes to Dan Quinn's defense signals. Those players get out of place, disrupted, and they know Dan Quinn's defense is built on peeling your ears back and forcing turnovers. But if you are going against a quarterback like Jordan Love, who doesn't turn the ball over, it is going to be the longest day ever for you Commanders fans. Trust me when it comes to Matt LaFleur. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't be too upset, Tone, because Matt LaFleur just constantly does that to Dan Quinn. He just goes out there, takes off the belt, takes him behind the woodshed, and clack, 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 clack.
Well, I'll tell you one fan base right now that's feeling a little less humble than they're used to. That's the Kansas City Chiefs, who start off 0-2 for, I believe, the first time since Patrick Mahomes has been the full-time starter for these Chiefs, and they lose once again to the Philadelphia Eagles, who, of course, they got destroyed by in Super Bowl 59 back in February. This one much tighter, but a win for the Eagles nonetheless. 20-17, the final score. It only took 100 yards through the air for Jalen Hurts to get it done. Saquon has 88 on 22 carries for a touchdown. A lot of craziness in this game, including a Travis Kelce drop touchdown that turned interception. That was a pivotal point. Pivotal switch in the football game. Hearing a lot of talk about that tush push after this one too. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's what got it done. I think what got it done was the Eagles being the better football team. They proved it in February. They proved it again on Sunday afternoon. Eagles 2-0. Chiefs 0-2. Jay Tuck, were you shocked to see the Eagles go into Arrowhead and get this one done? We talked about it last week. I think you thought the
Chiefs were going to win.
I know he did. Chiefs being at home, right? 0-2 on the line. Didn't go the way we're typically accustomed to with these Chiefs, where they find a way to get it done no matter what. Your takeaway from Sunday's big matchup between the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to back off like the Eagles are the better team. Like, no, the Chiefs are hurt right now. They have Xavier Worthy out there. They have Rashee Rice. So don't act like if this is going to be a rematch, it's not going to be different results. But I will say this, the Eagles are finding ways to win. As ugly as it is, they're finding ways to win, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. So you mentioned Z-Bot, the interception to Travis Kelce, which, going into this game, I felt like it was going to be Mahomes, Travis Kelce, or bust, because they had no one on the outside perimeter that can really make things happen besides Juju, maybe Hollywood Brown. So Chiefs were limited. The run game is still kind of lethargic. I'm not an Isaiah Pacheco fan. They're going to need to find a way to get that resolved. Their offensive line did play well versus Philly's front, especially a lot better than they did versus the Super Bowl. But ultimately, like, the Eagles find ways to win, whether that's Saquon, whether that's Jalen Hurts using his legs, whether that's the tush push, or whether that's the defense. And you can't take that away from the defense, because even though Travis Kelce did fumble the easy touchdown, they still had to come down with the interception. So they're finding ways to win. But as I'm going to take the Cowboys hat on, put on my gambler hat, I am happy what I see from the Eagles, because they have major issues, bigger issues than I actually thought. And I don't think it's fixable, to be honest with you guys. So overall, it was a good win versus Kansas City on the road, which is a tough place to play. But things are starting to open up a little bit more in the NFC, y'all. Because
one little overtime win against the Giants. Now things are opening up.
Like my sis Simone said, a win's still a win. A win is a win. My quarterback win. I don't care, because my quarterback can throw 48 times or 50 times and still win. So we ain't worried about what else you say. Did I do that right?
First of all,
win is a win.
Tuck. Before this game started, you had the Chiefs, and you knew what the relation was, and you sat up here and said you had.
No, there was talks that Hollywood that Isaiah Brothers also going to play with the.
We record on Tuesdays. He was not practicing Monday or Tuesday last week. Tuck.
There was reports he still was going to give it a win, still a win.
All I'm saying, he thought the Chiefs was going to win.
I mean, y'all won by 3. It wasn't like y'all dominated. Like, it won by a field goal.
Okay. Hey, next caller, please.
Ain't no more callers. But no, those are good.
They don't want to call back in here no more.
Listen, Simone, 1 point loss, 100-point loss, a Chiefs loss is good in my book.
Look at Zeba.
I don't care.
Yeah, Zeba happy about it.
There's only 2-0 faces on this panel.
Tell you what. Feeling pretty good about it, Simone. Let's see how the rest of the gang's feeling about this.
My kicker kicked for more yards than your quarterback threw for. That's crazy.
And believe me, we'll get to that, because that game was the game of the weekend. What an unbelievable showdown. That actually trumped what should have been the game of the weekend, and it was Chiefs-Eagles. That was the matchup everybody was eyeing, right? Super Bowl rematch. It's crazy about this one. The offenses on both sides of things really couldn't get it going, but the Chiefs outgained the Eagles in total yards, outgained them in pass yards quite significantly. The Eagles finished with less than 100 passing yards, and then the rushing yards was dead even. It still wasn't enough, though, and J-Tuck, you mentioned it's just the little things, whether it's the tush push or that giving up the interception by Kelce, it's a gifted touchdown until it isn't, and then the defense by the Eagles that seems to step up when it matters most. It gets it done in the end. Tone, you're watching this one, right? I know last time you saw those Eagles and you saw them in the Super Bowl, you saw them against the NFC, or your Commanders in the NFC Championship. Rolling hasn't looked exactly like that through the first 2 weeks, but nonetheless, they're 2-0.
They just find ways to win games. I can't hate it. I can only congratulate it. 100 yards, no problem. Chris Jones said, you threw for 100 yards. There's we won that effing game. Who cares?
101.
Who cares? I don't care. You won a football game. I don't care. You don't care about that. This push that's just cheating, bro. Why do you ban that stupid play, bro? It's dumb, bro. Golly. But they use it like 5 times and they convert it every single time. Like, ridiculous. And that rookie safety is a dog. He's a dog.
Makuba.
And dog. Animal. Dog.
Well, KB, I know you're fired up. You got a couple things to say about this game, I'm sure, maybe including the tush push, maybe not, but it's 20-17 victory going to the Eagles. And that's what kills me the most. You guys mentioned it a couple of times. I don't know if any other team in the league beats the Chiefs with their quarterback having 100 yards. I think this is the ultimate testament, this game, to how complete the Eagles are. And I know Jay Tuck, he mentioned it's not the same through the first 2 weeks. There does seem to be potentially some holes that we didn't see towards the end of the year last year with the Eagles, but I can't fault 100 yards through the air for your quarterback, and you're beating a team that's been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. What did you take away from this game, KB?
Watching this game, it could have been anybody's game. I don't think the Eagles really outmatched the Chiefs, and I don't think the Chiefs in any way outmatched the Eagles. I think it was really close. I think both teams played very similarly, like Zeba pointed out earlier, and it could have went different ways, but the Chiefs made a lot of mistakes. They had that kind of botched catch by Travis Kelce that wound up being intercepted at the goal line. They had a couple other mistakes as well, and the Eagles were able to capitalize. We talk about the 100 yards, and it's funny to joke about it because it's hard to defend Jalen Hurts when he has 100 yards and no touchdowns, still no passing touchdowns in 2 weeks. But it really goes to show that how good the team is, how stacked the team is. It's good to have multiple players to depend on. Like a lot of teams, they have their couple of star players. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals, and yeah, they have a couple of good players, but Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, you take out Joe Burrow, and then automatically that team's going to fall apart, or even Jamar Chase. With the Eagles, you can take out a couple of players, and they're still going to perform pretty well, because not only do they have a great roster, they have great depth as well. So they really set that team up for success, where they don't need to depend on a one player to get things done, like the Giants did with Saquon Barkley. Now Saquon Barkley's at a situation where he could carry a team, but if he's not 100% or he's not playing well, there's other players that can help out in that to win the game. So it could have went any other way. I would be slightly concerned if I'm an Eagles fan. You can say, like, you know, we're still finding a way to win games, but what happens when that kind of runs out? You know what I mean? Like, are the Eagles able to start pulling away from, you know, other opponents? You know, they kept it close with the Cowboys, and, you know, the Cowboys almost lost to the Giants. And so you got to start asking questions there. But
You're not an Eagles fan, so you don't need to be concerned. But thank you.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm not concerned. I'm not
You don't
concerned. I'm
need to be
happy.
concerned.
I'm happy.
Thank you.
And you know what?
They
That
got the
tush push,
open
I
team.
can't wait till they ban that tush push. You know, I didn't want it to be banned in the beginning. Now I don't care for it.
We got Saquon Barkley. We got AJ Dillon, regular up the middle. The tush push is just to give y'all something to talk about.
All right.
cool.
So when you guys got to go ISO on 3rd and 1s constantly when they take out the tush
What
push,
we've
let's
done
see if they're
before
still.
the tush push, a regular quarterback
Facts.
sneak, Saquon
Tell 'em,
Barkley for 1
KB.
yard.
Got
Tell
you.
her,
Got you.
KB.
Got
Give
you.
y'all
We'll
some
see.
Tell her.
content,
We
'cause
will
without the
see.
tush push, y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about. You're welcome.
We will see.
Simone, you got plenty
That's
to
cool,
talk about.
Simone.
You're
That's
2-0.
cool.
Why don't you talk to these guys? Because they seem to have a lot
Time
of
we
chatting
hear
going
from
on.
the winner.
Talk
About
to me.
time.
Let's hear it.
Done? Are y'all done? Okay. The biggest thing the haters had to say this offseason was that the Eagles were cooked because of our defense. They were praying that all the departures we had on defense was going to result in our downfall. Well, looky. Defense still not 100%, but still winning us games. The Eagles are 18-1 in the last 19 games. And in the last 19 games, the Eagles have 39 forced turnovers and have only turned the ball over 8 times ourselves. That's the difference maker, you guys. Your quarterback turned the ball over. Y'all hero, Travis Kelce, turned the ball over. We got playmakers on Vic Fangio's defense. So this offense just has to take care of the ball right now and do enough to keep the team in the game. What we did last year, the recipe, the #1 defense in the league, getting stops, getting turnovers when it matters the most, carrying over from the Super Bowl team. Any questions?
I'll leave it up to the class. What does the class have to say?
I'm
I got a
kidding.
question,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Moan.
D-Dot.
Don't.
I got a question. Can y'all keep this foolishness up? Y'all keep this whole, we're going to just manage the game,
No,
hold it down, and defense going to do their thug this. Y'all going to keep that up?
I have to shield myself from the mega haters on this panel. Okay, so that's
Oh,
all. Because the discourse this offseason was the Eagles are going to be done. They lost Milton Williams, they lost Brandon Graham, they lost Josh Sweat. They had the #1 defense. Their defense going to suck this year, but baby, look, defense still making plays. Okay, against the team that y'all picked to beat us this week. So let's not
I
act
picked the
like
Eagles.
y'all didn't have
I
the
picked the
Chiefs
Eagles.
winning this game. Now all of a sudden Eagles got problems. Even though we won the game, y'all said we was gonna lose. So which one is it?
J-Tuck was
did.
the only
You know what?
one that said that the Chiefs would lose.
Respect. I can't argue with that.
Chiefs will win.
No.
You got it.
Hey,
I can't
You're
argue
right,
with that one.
baby.
Big
You're
dog.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I had the
I
Eagles
can't
winning,
argue
but
with you, dog.
more convincingly.
Also, last season, Eagles won the Super Bowl with what? A passing game that was below mid and a defense that made plays. What's changed? Passing
Below
game,
mid.
below mid, defense making plays. So what's the difference?
Hold on.
Wait, the Eagles had a blue game?
Ooh, I like that. I did that.
The Eagles had a below mid passing game?
One thing I never do is lie. Okay, yes,
Oh,
below
so-
mid, but it's
Yeah,
still
Who makes that passing game below mid?
the play calling.
The play calling did.
Hey, son.
Oh no.
Get out of here, bro.
Hey, she's starting to admit a little something about Hurts. I ain't gonna lie. She's creeping up.
Y'all saw the play calling. Why are we handing off on 1st and 10? Why
You
are we
mean
handing
Kellen
off
Moore?
on 3rd and long?
Why are we handing off on 1st and 10? That's like when to
Every
hand
1st
off.
and 10. Yeah, come on now. Every 1st
It's like
and
a running
10.
down.
Yeah.
You got
Every-
Saquon Barkley. You got Saquon Barkley.
Okay, but Saquon
Well-
Barkley wasn't getting going in that game, but we
Hey,
still
I didn't
was
say
running
it.
it up the middle every play. But
Simone said that below. That's going to be the
Below mid.
YouTube short. The
Yeah.
Essence game.
Go ahead, bro.
Below
watch
mid.
Hey, son, go ahead, son.
y'all
What is
honestly
below
don't
mid?
watch
Like
this has been said a
trash?
million times.
trash, mid, like what's below mid? Like what is what do we
Awful.
No, me, what are you talking about?
Awful.
No, that's
below
was
mid
funny as
basketball.
hell.
I'm saying this ain't nothing new. I've been saying this forever on my own page. Tap in, ask Simone with the sports on YouTube.
By the way, Jay Tuck with the hat change. He could not stand having that color
What?
green on his second.
Yeah, he said, take that off, Sean.
He's in win is a win mode.
No below mid. You know, like I can't do that.
But still,
Can't do
like
that.
my quarterback said, we effing won the game. So what next?
Well, and that's the key, Simone. You do win the game. I'm curious on your end, you know, maybe AJ Brown, one example, right? 2 weeks here, 6 receptions, 35 yards.
Oh, yeah.
He's just one example, I think, here to where maybe if you are an Eagles fan, you're watching the way it goes down, and it's 2 wins, and it's 2 wins against 2 quality opponents, and you beat the Chiefs again in their place to send them to 0-2. It's easier said than done. It's next to impossible, really, with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, yet you do it. With all that said, though, is there any concern at all? Or do you just think this is going to be like it was last year? Because they did start slow last year, and before we knew it, they hit their stride, and they were easily the best team in the NFL.
Zero concern. Let me tell you why. Every time we've had to answer the bell, we answered the bell. We haven't been in a shootout. So I know when we get in that situation, probably this week, we will answer the bell. Week 1 versus Dallas. Every time they score, boom, we respond. Offense has had 0 problems responding. Going back into 22 games now, where again, we are 18-1. So offense is always going to respond. We have a new offensive coordinator, never called games before. So this is first time at play caller, 2 weeks, took care of the ball, pretty conservative. But at the end of the day, he said his main goal was making sure, we were taking care of the ball. So we won the games, 2 games we won. Every time offense needed to pick up the first down, move the chains, answer and respond, we did that. It's never been a situation where the offense has kept us out of the game. So until I see that, I ain't sweating. I got the Super Bowl, y'all's Super Bowl 59 MVP behind me. And like he said, we won the effing game.
Let's talk about it. This game was absolutely insane. The Giants had it till they didn't. The Cowboys had it till they didn't. The Giants had it. The Cowboys had it back and forth until the Cowboys eventually took this one 37-34 in overtime. The leg of Brandon Aubrey is true. That guy, as good as it gets in the league, he ends up getting it done for the Dallas Cowboys in a game that was just high flying and entertaining beyond compare. I mean, throughout the weekend, you could not find a game that was as entertaining as this one. Russell Wilson, 30 of 41, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dak Prescott, 38 of 52, 361 pass yards, 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams had a day. Malik Neighbors, my goodness. CeeDee Lamb, he's back in action. What a wild one. Goes to overtime. Cowboys end up taking it. Tone, I'll start with you here. This game was nuts. What did you make of Cowboys-Giants on Sunday?
What the hell happened over there? What the hell? What was this? What was this? First of all, I'm gonna stop. The winners go to spoils. Let's start with the Cowboys. 40 points is crazy work. Credit, dude. Right? Dak was playing great ball. Javonte Williams, 100 yards. Okay, look at Javonte Williams. See, he was doing his thing. Offense was going crazy. Everybody contributed. Offense was crazy. But defense, y'all defense is food, J Tuck. That defense is food.
Terrible.
I'm gonna need Trayvon Diggs to donate some money back to the Cowboys organization. What the hell was that? What was that, sir? What was that? Him and Deron Bland were not good. Wandale and Malik Neighbors went absolutely 8. Yeah, that's a hell of a game. That game was insane. J Tuck, y'all defense better get your act together though, bro. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know. We allowed 6 points week 1. How y'all let them go in the building and score 37? I need answers. What the hell was that?
I got you. Don't worry.
KB's
I want to know. I want to know.
By the way,
good job, Cowboys. You got a dub on the win-loss column. A win is a win. That's Simone was saying. A win's a win.
Win's a win. Right. That's what it was. Quick shout out to Jack, by the way. Just a random fish reference in the middle of the chat for no reason, which I just looked over. I love to see it. You don't see that often. So I got to give a shout out to my man, Jack. I don't know where that came from, but shout out to Jack. And he said it was a great game. And it was a great game. I mean, it really was. And Tone, you put it perfectly. I don't think anybody went into this one, including KB, expecting Russell Wilson to have 450 yards, Malik Neighbor 167 yards, and they lose. I mean, this is what's so insane is that you're banking on this this Giants defense. They didn't have their best outing, but the offense did, and it just still wasn't enough. 3 points shy. Simone, you're watching this one, right? And it's just back and forth. What did you make of what you saw in this showdown within the division between the Cowboys and the Giants?
First of all, it was too gosh darn long, okay? Bumping into my game, okay? Interrupting my coverage, okay? Yeah, I saw a whole lot of passing game for a loss for KB's team. He's so worried about passing yards, got a whole bunch and still lost the game. But that was a wonderful game. Fun to watch. Two little teams going at it. You know what I'm saying? Playing like it's their Super Bowl. It was fun to watch. Shout out to that kicker. Y'all kicker is real good. Real good kicker.
Butter Aubrey, you know.
That game was very fun. I feel like that was one of the best games, honestly, of the week, just to watch. Going band for band at the end, score for score. Russ ended up burning his food, cooking too long. You know, he had the pan on too long, ended up burning his food. You know what I'm saying? Overcooked. But yeah, that game was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Shout out to y'all little teams going at it.
Brandon Aubrey was so good, by the way. They even gave a shout out to his Twitter fan account afterwards. He was asked about it, and he was like, "Oh, just keep doing your thing. We need the support." I don't know if he needs the support because he's as good as it gets in the league right now. That dude's automatic. In fact, I had Giants friends, and I don't know if you felt the same, KB, but I had Giants friends texting me like, "This is, I mean, all you got to do is get Brandon Aubrey to the 50, and it feels like this game is going to overtime." And that's pretty much exactly.
Don't worry. I'm gonna rant about that.
You know what, KB? I'll just be quiet. The floor is yours. I will just say that I'm always looking for a silver lining for you. Malik Neighbors is him, man. He is him. How was
Best
it watching
receiver
him
in the East? That's for sure.
How was it watching him ball out like this and still coming up shy? Talk to me about your loss against the Cowboys.
Oh man, there's I can go on for hours on this game. You know, we talk about Russ. It's funny to like laugh at Russell Wilson because of the interception, and yeah, he shouldn't have thrown it. And like Simone said, we left him cooking for too long. He thought he couldn't make a mistake. This guy thought he was like ice cold. He could just throw it up and somebody's gonna find it, because literally that's all he was doing the entire game. The Giants played the kind of football I didn't think it was gonna be that good on offense, but the kind of football I expected them to play in this season. And I'm happy that it came this early. I really wish we could have seen a lot more of that in week 1. But the thing is, what I liked, what I guess we adjusted on, is that we actually took advantage of our opponent's weaknesses. The Cowboys ran a lot of too high, a lot of cover 2, cover 4, and we were just attacking the middle of the deep middle, attacking the whole shots. You can tell they were watching their film. You can tell they knew exactly what they were doing because the timing was so perfect. Russell Wilson to Malik Neighbors on the outside, Wandale in the seam, like 3 or 4 times, a 5'8" receiver getting a pass in the seam from a 5'10" quarterback. He's got to be butt naked open for those two to connect constantly. So even getting the tight end some work as well. The running game was terrible, but you know, we had a lot of things not go our way. The penalties. Oh my God, the penalties. J Tuck knows, if he obviously watched the game. James Hudson, I was ranting about him the previous week on this show, how terrible he was and how we're paying him $6 million a year. 4 penalties in the first possession. 4 penalties in the first drive, and also a sack given up. That's got to be the worst tackle performance of all time. In fact, no player in NFL history has had 4 penalties just on him in one drive. So he made history with that. Shout out to the Giants for always making history with those type of statistics. So the penalties were a huge issue. And then when it comes to the end of the game, the Giants defense in the beginning of the game played well. They played a lot of man, they played a lot of press, and they were able to kind of stuff the Cowboys offense to a degree. Now, you're not going to keep CD Lamb covered forever. You know, you're not going to keep Drew Phillips did a good job on CD, but you're not going to keep George Pickens off of whoever he's on forever, especially in press man. He bullied Paulson Adebo in man. So eventually they were going to get going. But then at the end of the game, Shane Bowen, who needed to be left in Dallas, quite frankly, after having a good performance in the first half with defense, he just completely switched it up. We just played scared automatically, sending all of our defensive backs, linebackers back. Nobody was covering the flat. I kid you not. In the second half, we had nobody in the flat the entire game. We're not getting pressure. There was a point in time where we sent a nickel blitz, and our down linemen were all backup defensive linemen. Like, this is like an NBA basketball game where we're getting our bench work in. Like 320-pound defensive linemen rushing the passer off a nickel blitz and leaving the flats wide open. Like, who does that? That you're just asking to get chunk yardage every single play downfield. Like, Shane Bowen had a terrible performance managing who's the personnel who's out there and play calling the defense, and that's ultimately what lost us the game because Russell Wilson, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, those guys did plenty to have us win the game. Honestly, should have won the game. We had plenty of opportunity. We had this game put away in the final 20 seconds of the game. You tell me another team who constantly, as a Giants fan, we had 20 seconds left to go in the game, and my chat, even I was not confident that we were gonna end the game, that was gonna be it. Of course, we're going against the best kicker in the NFL right now, and we play prevent defense as if we're trying to prevent a Hail Mary pass when the team just needs a field goal on the first play. Like, they get 20 yards and are able to kick a field goal. So many things frustrating with that. We go into overtime, and then Russell Wilson throwing the interception. We have plenty of opportunities. Like, I'm not going to put this on Russell. We were not going to be in this game if it wasn't for Russell. I'll tell you what, Jackson Dart ain't doing that. Sorry to any Giants fans in the chat. They're hiding right now. Jackson Dart was not doing that. He wasn't going to make those veteran throws in the seams, veteran throws and hole shots. Like, a veteran is the only quarterback who's going to make that kind of throw is probably going to be Russell Wilson. And we saw vintage Russell Wilson, man. We saw why the Giants brought him in, and he still has something left in the tank. I'm happy from his performance. I'm not blaming that interception on him. I'm not blaming the game on him. The interception sucked. Not blaming the game on him whatsoever, but damn. This one was the one that got away, man. The one that got away. This is definitely going to be a classic. It was cinema. Unfortunately, we're at the short end of the stick when it comes to that. But yeah, plenty. And I'll tell you what. We talk about Shane Bowen, but Matt Eberflus needs to be gone as well. The defensive coordinator out there did not adjust at all. The whole game running too high. The entire game not switching it up. So I thought that was very telling for the Dallas defense.
Simone, thought I saw a hand raised.
Oh, I just want to say, if I was a Giants fan, I'd be concerned right now.
Oh.
Listen, we were already in the basement. What is there to be a concern about? We're already terrible. We have no expectations this year. I'm good. I cried in the corner for a little bit, but I'm back. I'm here. Strongest soldier, baby. I'm the strong. Listen, it takes a lot to come out here and be a Giants fan, okay? I'm the strongest soldier.
J-Tuck, all of that KB just packed in comes on the end of a loss to your Cowboys. A win is a win. Talk to me about that W for Dallas over the G-Men.
KB, can you say that one part for me just one more time, that you guys were up with 20 seconds left and you still wasn't comfortable? That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
And you want to know the reason why is because I have one of the best quarterbacks in football, as I told y'all weeks ago.
My God! You know what? I was gonna bring that up. No, You're right, though. You're right. Yeah. I agree with you.
The Dallas Cowboys do not win that game if it's not for Dakota Rain Prescott.
I agree.
He put this team on his back and carried him all the way to a victory in overtime. Now, am I shocked? No, because that's what Dak has to do. Y'all saw how bad that defense was visually with your own eyes, right? We couldn't get pressure. It was just bombs away over our secondary. Like, our offensive line was allowing pressure. Like, it was simply because of Dak Prescott. He is the engine when it comes to this Dallas Cowboys team. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Tuck, you only beat the Giants by 3. Well, if you watch last week's show, I told you I wasn't very comfortable about this game because I know my team. I knew that we was not going to show up and be the same team from the week prior versus the Giants. We were going to take our foot off the gas. Plus, we did have some injuries. But at the end of the day, Dak Prescott owns the Giants. Y'all haven't beat him since his rookie season. That is crazy. And so here's the silver lining and why I do agree with Simone, why KB should feel sick, because not only did the Cowboys win the game, we won it in a way that now your Jackson Dart experiment is blown up. Y'all can't go to Jackson Dart anytime soon. Y'all have to go out there and let Russ cook. And the problem is you're going to face other defenses that actually has guys and didn't send their best defensive players to Green Bay that can get pressure, and this Russ blast will fall off again. So now you're just stuck with Russ for the rest of the season. So kudos to my Dallas Cowboys going out there getting the victory. Matt Eberflus, is a problem, but you have to understand how things were kind of working. I mean, we just went versus a quarterback who couldn't throw the week before, so maybe we thought that was the way we can go out there and play defense. So he's going to make the adjustments. Deron Bland was out with the issues. Yes, Trayvon Diggs was getting beat.
It's trash.
But no, he's not. Trayvon Diggs was literally on a pitch count the prior week because he only had 3 days of practice before he played versus Philly.
So when he was out there, he was
him out there off an ACL injury and say, "Oh, have at it when it comes to Malik Neighbors," with no camp, no nothing. Right? There was miscommunications. Trayvon Diggs is perfectly fine. Normally, Deron Bland would have been over Malik Neighbors, and it had been null and void. So, not really concerned when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys because our Dallas Cowboys defense is what it is. We sent our best defensive player to Green Bay. Our defense will not be good this year, but it does not matter. Why? Because as long as I have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens, we will be a problem, and we can go toe-to-toe any NFL team offensively, and that's just how the chips are going to fall. So, as Simone would say, a win is a win. But no, I'm not gonna say a win is a win. I personally don't believe in a win mindset. I think that's a poor mindset to have. So I'm just saying that because Matt fun.
Interesting stat.
Because a win is a win shouldn't apply when you're playing against an inferior opponent, right? It should only be when you're playing